Yo, what's up everyone? Daniel Yuck here. Thank you all for tuning in today. I appreciate it. Today we are going to go ahead and dive into the CNC-X1 Tattoo Machine. Some of you may be familiar with this machine, some of you may not. I want to go ahead and do the full 9 with you. I want to go ahead and look at the cosmetics. I want to go ahead and unbox it together right here. I want to go ahead and show you all how I would wrap it, disassemble it, assemble it. We're going to take a look at the performance. Again, I'm going to try and shed as much light as I possibly can for you all in this video. So at any point throughout this video, should you have any questions or multiple questions, feel free to drop them in the comments below, and I'm going to do my best to assist you in the best possible direction. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump on into this unboxing, and let's go ahead and remove the plastic wrap. As you can see, this is the standard CNC box. It's like a really low profile box. All of the machines that I ever got came in the same box, which is pretty cool. The only thing that changes is the labeling, of course. So I'm going to go ahead and unbox it. We're going to unwrap this machine here together, and we're going to take a first glance at this machine right here together on camera. So we removed the film. We are now going to go ahead and remove the hood of the hood of the box rather. So as you can see, this is what we are greeted with. We are greeted with a manual Swiss motor. We will go ahead and dive into everything here. For those who aren't familiar, this is what the machine looks like, but we're going to go ahead and show you all the actual machine, the cosmetics here up close. So let's go ahead and continue here. So that's the manual there. This is the actual machine. And right when I pick it up, it doesn't have a heavy weight to it at all. I personally thought the machine was going to be bigger, which is a good thing. I didn't want the machine to be overwhelmingly big. This is actually, it feels like when I was younger, like a Sharpie, those fat Sharpies that we used to do graffiti with. That's what this reminds me of. Typically all of the pin style machines that I have remind me of that sort of approach. However, let me go ahead and remove the back here so we can take a look at the machine up close. As you can see, this is one beautiful machine. Let's go ahead and do the spin here. Right off the bat, I can say this machine definitely feels of quality. This machine definitely, I mean, per usual, CNC always has quality products. The products that I've tried have all been quality, but this one right here feels great in my hand. It doesn't feel overwhelming. The weight is nice and distributed. It's balanced. So like when even if I were to put a wireless power supply, it wouldn't feel too heavy. The machine isn't heavy at all. As you can see, it isn't too big in correspondence to the size of my hand. So far, this machine is lovely. As you can hear, it is a click grip. I will go ahead and get familiar with it here in a bit, figure out how we're going to disassemble it, how I would go about sterilizing this. But overall, right now, this machine feels great. This machine looks great. It definitely feels like a quality machine. Not to mention the motor that it comes with is an amazing motor, as you can see. That is the actual motor name. So they left a little transparent opening right here so you can actually see the name of the motor. So this is a Maxon motor. We will go ahead and dive into that here in a little bit, but this is another very reliable motor. So I'm expecting for this machine to perform in all aspects. I'm expecting for this machine to be a workhorse, so to speak. So that's for the machine right there. I'm also going to place that to the side. We're going to go ahead and see if there's anything else under here. So at the bottom, if I am correct, we're going to be greeted with the ultralight cable. And we also have a tool, as you can see. So it does come with this and an ultralight cable. These are cool. These grew on me quickly just because when you're using them and they do happen to float over your environment or your area you're tattooing, it's just a super light cable. It's really easy to work with. So I'm a big fan of these ultralight cables here. I'm glad that they include them in every machine that you get from CNC. So as you can see, that's the contents. That's everything that comes inside the box right there. Before I go ahead and dive headfirst into this machine, I'm going to go ahead and just look over the user manual here with you all. So I'm just gonna go ahead and flip through some pages. Feel free to pause the screen at any time should you want to read more about this specific user manual. I will go ahead and leave it here for a few moments, and I'm gonna go ahead and just fast forward it out. So at any moment you want to read, go ahead and pause the screen. Okay, so that's the end of the manual. At any point, I felt I left it there long enough so you guys can pause it and read the entire thing. So that is literally the entire manual there. So you can go ahead and get really acquainted with the machine prior to purchase. So that way, when you do purchase it, you'll be really acquainted with the machine. You'll know how the machine works, etc., etc. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do is I'm gonna go ahead and get a little bit acquainted with the machine. We are gonna go ahead and come back, and I'm gonna go ahead and show you all how I would basically break down this machine, how I would assemble the machine, and then we're gonna go ahead and get into how I would wrap this machine, so that way we can get on over into the performance of this machine as well. So we will go ahead and bust out the real skin, scratch skin. We're gonna go ahead and throw some lining at it. We're gonna go ahead and throw some round shaders at it. We're gonna go ahead and throw some bigger configurations, smaller configurations. We're gonna go ahead and do what I would typically do on a real tattoo. So stay tuned for that. Let's go ahead and get more acquainted, and we will be back here. Okay, so we are now back and better acquainted with the CNC-X1. I want to go ahead and just show you all how I would break down the machine. I want to go ahead and show you all the components, and then I want to go ahead and reassemble the machine and show you all how I would wrap it. So let's go ahead and proceed here. Now I'm going to use a guitar pick here, so you can just pick up a pack of guitar picks and then just have them in, you know, around your tattoo area. And that's what I'm gonna go ahead and use to remove this screw. If you want to use tools, by all means, but a guitar pick was more than enough for this specific situation. I'm gonna go ahead and remove that screw, and that's where I basically begin. You don't want to lose any of these, as it doesn't come with any spare parts. So put these in a place that you're not gonna go ahead and lose them upon disassembling. I always start with removing the motor right here. This is the motor, which houses the motor inside right here, and this is the housing with the eccentric wheel. I'm gonna go ahead and just place that over to the side as well. And this part right here pops right off after you go ahead and unscrew it. So you can go ahead and drop this into ultrasonic cleaner, autoclave, chemical bath, however you choose to go ahead and sterilize your equipment. And then in here, there's another component that actually stayed in here. Bear with me. I'm pulling out this piece right here. So as you can see, this is a screw piece as well. So this is basically how the machine breaks down into 4 different components. If you're including the screw, I guess there's 5 different pieces total technically. Let me go ahead and actually remove this up here. So these are the components. These are the components that consist and that make up the CNC-X1. The breakdown is very, very simple. The breakdown is very straightforward if you ask me. Typically, I like the less amount of components, the better, is basically my thought process. However, this isn't too bad at all. To sterilize, to submerge fully is easy. You can go ahead and wipe this down with a super sandy cloth so that way you don't fully submerge this. But that is the idea behind it. This is a great tattoo machine. It looks easy to maintain. It seems easy to break down, easy to assemble. It is not that difficult, as you can see right here. So what I want to go ahead and do now is I want to go ahead and show you all how I would reassemble it. Reassembling this machine is going to be very, very straightforward. You basically want to repeat that process in reverse. This part right here is basically, you kind of just press it in there, and it's basically this is what clips and holds the cartridge. So that's what this component is right there, as you can see. So you would just simply put that around, place that in, and then begin to screw it in to place, as you see, ready to go on that end. Go ahead and lock it in there. And then the last part would be the screw to hold the grip in place here, so that way it doesn't come out of place there. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the trusty guitar pick. And again, we're just repeating the same process that we did to disassemble it in reverse to assemble it. And you just want to go ahead and make sure you get a nice little tug on there. And as you can see, we are now ready to go ahead and plug it in for performance. So breakdown, assembly, disassembly, very, very easy, very, very straightforward. For the wrapping aspect of this machine, there's multiple ways that we can approach it. I know that they don't recommend we use a wireless power supply on this machine. However, I don't want to necessarily leave you all wondering, because I'm sure a few of you are going to ask, how does it run on a wireless power supply? So we're going to go ahead and test that out. I have a wireless power supply right here from Inklaw, in which I also did a full review on. I'm going to go ahead and place it on top. And as you can see, it's actually very straightforward. It doesn't give me any issues. It lines up perfectly. There's no issues whatsoever upon applying the wireless power supply right here. It's very, very easy to go in, no issues whatsoever. Let's go ahead and turn on the wireless power supply and let's see how it runs. So right now we are at 5.5 volts. And as you all can hear, it's very, very smooth, very quiet, and low vibration, very low vibration. We're gonna go ahead and push different needle configurations as well that I have right here. We're also gonna go ahead and wrap it with this slip right here that also comes with the CNC bundle. So let's say if you buy this bundle or the WE bundle that I showed you all, then you'll go ahead and receive this slip as well with some cartridges. For this specific bundle, I received some police cartridges, as you can see right here, in which we also will go ahead and do a review on. So you can go ahead and get the Maxim bundle and save more that way. I highly do recommend that. So these sleeves do come with it as well. So we're gonna go ahead and approach it, wrapping it as if we're gonna go ahead and use a wireless power supply. And then we'll go ahead and wrap it as if we were going to go ahead and use a standard power supply. I believe though the approach would pretty much be the same, and in terms of wrapping it, it's going to be very, very easy. But before we do that, let's go ahead and let you all hear the machine in the higher voltage range. So as you can see right now, we are at 8.2 volts, 9 volts, smooth and consistent. I'm going to take it down to 4.5 volts. It feels super smooth, low vibration, and I can get in the 4.5 volts, so I can really get more time over the skin upon stippling. And that's how, when I do stippling, I'll drop into this low voltage range. So to me, it's super important that the machine is able to push in that range. I'm confident it's going to go ahead and push a standard or a bug pin 3-round liner with ease. But as you all can hear, with a wireless power supply, it works great. I don't notice any issues. Let's actually go ahead and open up a needle here. This is going to be a Rain bug pin 27 round mag. So this is going to be one of the biggest configurations that I have on hand. Plugging in needles to this specific, as you can see, there's leeway. It is not difficult at all. Some tattoo machines I've encountered where it's just super difficult to get the cartridges in and out, and it kind of makes it not worthwhile. But as you all can see, it's super easy. It locks in place. Now we are pushing 27 round mag at 4.5, and that's too low a voltage range, so let's take it back up to about maybe 7.5, and it pushes it with ease, as you can see. No problems whatsoever. Let's go ahead and adjust the voltage, I'm sorry, the depth here. So adjusting the needle depth is no problem at all. As you can see, no issues whatsoever adjusting the needle depth. Here's a better view. So you can really hang your needles out there should you choose to do so. Me personally, I love to hang my needles out there. So right now though, overall, just from looking at this, from using a wireless power supply on it, from hearing it, from holding it in my hands, the vibration, I wish you all can feel it, but however, I can go ahead and share with, as best I can with you all. I can let you all hear it and relay what it feels like. But again, the vibration is low. It's really, really low, and we're running at 7.5, pushing a round mag. And this is me holding the raw machine like that with no padding, with nothing around it. So I do feel that this machine is overall great right now. And again, we are running it with a wireless power supply over a standard, pushing a really big needle configuration. We're still getting low vibration, low noise. So now let's go ahead and approach how we would wrap this specific tattoo machine right here. So I think the approach is actually very, very straightforward and kind of self-explanatory. Let's see if we're going to have to adjust this bag. Typically, I will go ahead and grab the tip of the bag right here and kind of just stretch it just a little bit. Be careful not too much because you don't want to rip it. And that allows me to slide the bag over, the barrier over like so, making it very, very easy. So we have everything covered. The entire machine is covered. From this point, what I would go ahead and do is get a napkin and wrap it around just to go ahead and add a little bit more grip. So let's go ahead and fully wrap this machine as we normally would. And I think, to be honest though, if we were going to go ahead and use a standard power supply, this right here, what we're doing would actually apply, because what we're going to go ahead and do is you would plug in the cable there, and then you would just put a barrier around the cable itself, in which I will go ahead and show you here as well. So wrapping it is very straightforward. Either way, you would want a barrier on everything that you're going to be using. So I would go ahead and wrap it like so. On the napkin here, I really pull that, so that way it kind of helps hold the plastic in place as well. And then upon doing that, I will get my grip adhesive here, and then I'll go ahead and do the same thing. On the first few ones, I go ahead and I pull, as you can see. And then I will go ahead and just kind of loosen up, so that way it builds up a little bit. I don't think that needle depth, adjusting the needle depth is going to be too difficult with this specific tattoo machine right here, depending on how you apply this right here. So around this part, I know that the depth is going to be changed from right here, as you can see. So what I want to go ahead and do is I want to leave a little bit of slack on this bag. You can go ahead and just cover this with saran wrap, put a few layers over that, and then you'd be good to go. I'm going to go ahead and just apply a barrier here, but on this barrier I'm going to go ahead and put some up here. And I'm going to keep it really, really light. I'm not going to touch this heavily, so that way I have the freedom to turn it as you see. And that would be the secret to doing that. And that's how I would wrap it. Remove the excess. And now I'm good to go. Again, you'd want to go ahead and cover this with saran wrap. Now, for a standard power supply, this is the wireless. Just to reiterate, cover this with saran wrap as well. You could even have covered it with saran wrap and then wrap it if you're going to be using the wireless power supply the entire session. For this demonstration, what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to remove the wireless power supply, and you can go ahead and you would basically want to have a RCA, the same RCA cables that come within the CNC, the very light thin ones. You would want to go ahead and simply, if you plug it in like so, you can go ahead and basically cover the entire barrier, or cover the entire machine all the way up here, like so. And then you can go ahead and have wrapped the grip tape around, so that way this is stuck under the grip tape and doesn't come loose during your session. So this is how you would do it with a standard power supply. So everything is covered, literally everything is covered all the way down. You can go ahead and poke a little hole with a needle cartridge that you have right here to go ahead and get your needles into the plastic. As you see, no issues whatsoever. That's how you would approach that. And again, this is going to be under the grip tape. So the grip tape would have been put on last. Wrap this, put this over. You get my drift. Wrap it together and it'll stay in place. That's how you would approach it. So very, very easy to wrap with a standard power supply. Very, very easy to wrap with a wireless power supply. To each their own. You will go ahead and get to where you are going. For this though, I am going to go ahead and we're going to wrap it with saran wrap, but I wanted to demonstrate how I was going to wrap it before we actually proceeded to wrap it with saran wrap, so I didn't have to unwrap it twice. So I'm going to go ahead and get the saran wrap, and I'm just going to show you all how I would completely wrap it wirelessly. So the idea is very, very straightforward. I have my plastic roll here. I'm going to go ahead and grab a piece, and as you can see, I have it like so. I'm going to go ahead and basically just kind of build a barrier around the machine. And I'm going to go ahead and rip this off like that. Of course, I do care about aesthetics when it comes to this, so I do want it to also look nice. I don't want it to be unpresentable. And then I also always make a little fold, and these are the little flaps that when I am done, I'm going to go ahead and pull from to go ahead and start removing everything. So as you can see, so kind of like leaving my tracks as I'm going. So that's layer one. You can go ahead and put a couple of layers. You can go ahead and leave one layer. For me, I always like to just put two because I think two is more than enough. So I'm just gonna go ahead and repeat that process. Go ahead and bring a saran wrap, kind of just place it around like so. Place the machine down. So now the interface is still showing right here, as you can see perfectly. The entire machine is literally covered, so is this area, and it's double wrapped. So I'm very, very confident we aren't going to go ahead and get anything exposed there. Then you can go ahead and just simply, as I stated, re-wrap the machine so that way you get comfort on the top as well, but the saran wrap stays down and doesn't give you issues at all during the tattoo session. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish rewrapping this all the way down like so. We can still adjust the needle depth. As you see, we're just now fully covered, fully ready to tattoo with this machine. It's very, very simple, very straightforward. Even just explaining and showing you all how I would wrap it with a standard and a wireless power supply took maybe about 5 to 6 minutes. So talking on top of trying to explain is a bit more difficult over just doing this, you know, in a normal tattoo session. So as you all can see, it's very, very simple, very, very straightforward. It's not too ugly, it's not very pretty, but it's definitely going to do the job, and it's going to do what I need it to do. Okay, so we're all cleared up and set up. Let's go ahead and bring out the trusty real scratch skin. I'm going to go ahead and just start with the 27 round mag, and we're going to go ahead and just start packing some black, and we're going to take a good look at how it packs black. I'm going to go ahead and relay all the information that I possibly can, from the feel to consistency, anything else I can think of. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop them down below. Now I am going to go ahead and face my cartridge the same way as my interface here. So I'm going to be pushing at, let's do this at 7.8. So as you can see, I'm pushing at 7.8, making sure I'm in the frame here. I'm going to go ahead and get a little bit of Vaseline, or a little bit of Green Glide rather. And I'm going to go ahead and grab some ink, and then we are going to go ahead and just pack some black. We're going to see how it goes. Again, we are using the wireless power supply for this demonstration right here. We are packing with a 27 round Magnum. What I will say is I can see that it's saturating the skin with ease. The Maxim motor is really putting in work. I'm not trying hard. I'm letting the needle and basically the tattoo machine weight kind of do the job for me. And again, I'm guiding it a little bit as well. I am encouraging it to go a little bit deeper. But overall, as you can see, the sound is consistent. The performance is consistent right here on this fake skin. It is going to translate well over to human skin. Typically 9 times out of 10, what I've learned on practice skins has translated well. So basically that's where tattooing is at pretty much nowadays. We can practice enough on practice skins to get really good prior to ever even hitting human skin. And as you can see though, I'm not leaving any textures on this practice skin. I'm not damaging the skin in any way, shape, or form. However, I am saturating this area with a very, very dark and dense black. So this machine is definitely doing its job for packing. I definitely do give it a thumbs up. Right now, how I feel about the CNC-X1, I think it's a great machine overall. Breaking down, assembling is super easy. What else do we have here? Right now the performance is great. The motor is definitely a trusted motor as well. So just with having this specific motor, it gives me, I guess, more insight, and it makes me feel better using this machine, as again, it is a trusted motor. And upon using it, the feel is very, very consistent. It doesn't feel cheap in any way, shape, or form. I do notice though that the machine has give. Me personally, I like for my machine to have give. Should you not like for your machine to have give, then that's something to consider. This machine does have a considerable amount of give, again, which I am a personal fan of, especially when I'm using the stipple approach and applying those dots. I want to have a super soft hit, and I have a feeling this machine is going to go ahead and give me a super soft hit. But as you can see, I'm kind of having way too much fun packing black, and it's really, really easy to do so. So this machine is definitely packing black. It's doing it with ease, as you can see. A lot of this is going to come down to technicality on the tattooist and how they pack black specific. But as you can see, it's super saturated, super dark, right where we want it to be. I definitely give it a thumbs up for packing black. I'm sure the same approach is going to apply to color. If that was red, green, it's just going to vary, again, depending on the pigments, manufacturers. However, nonetheless, it's definitely good for packing black. Let's go ahead and let's bust out a 14 round shader right here, the standard 14 round shader, and let's go ahead and pull some lines with the round shader. I am going to go ahead and leave it at the same voltage. If I'm correct, we're at 7.8. I'm going to go ahead and leave it in that ballpark range, and we're just going to go ahead and pull some lines with this specific configuration. So here's a Rain 14 round shader. We're at 7.8 volts. Let's go ahead and just pull some lines here. I'm hanging out my needle quite a bit, but that's okay. Let's go ahead and see how this pulls lines. I don't feel the need to take the voltage up. Now see, this is the feel that I'm used to. There's a specific rotary type of machines that, like, you go into the higher 9 volt range, and upon doing so, the machine gets a bit louder, it hits a bit harder, and I don't want that. Right now I'm pushing at 7.8 volts. However, as you can see, this is pushing with ease. I'm just like, well, I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm doing this effortlessly. I'm not doing anything special. There's no secret or special techniques. I'm simply doing the fundamentals, in which I shared with you all in the how to pull a line video. And as you can see, it's pulling lines just fine. The skin is not texturizing. We're not slicing this real skin. And the reason why I'm demonstrating with the real skin, because you can really see the textures. Like if I slice too deep, you'll be able to see that as well when I bring you all up close. However, this is actually performing flawlessly. This is actually really, really smooth. This Maxim motor, I feel, is right on up there in the performance next to the CNC-Q2, which has a fall harbor motor. So I can't be too sure. which one I like better at the moment. I don't have nearly enough experience on the Max End as I do on the Q2, so I can't say right now. However, if you all subscribe and stick with me and follow me on my journey, I will go ahead and be able to shed more light, as I'm gonna go ahead and use this one in my arsenal. I'm gonna go ahead and use this one in tattooing on humans as well. So I will be bringing more videos on the performance of this machine. I will be bringing more details on this machine in the future, so again, just stick with me on that. But nonetheless, right now, as you can see, I pretty much emptied out the ink cartridge, pulling these lines with a standard 14 round shader, and it's amazing. These lines look great. These lines are coming out amazing. What I want to go ahead and do is I want to get a buck pin 3-round liner, and I want to go ahead and see how this machine performs with a stipple approach, and let's go ahead and drop it into like maybe a 4.5, 5.5 range. So let's go ahead and get a 3-round liner. Okay, so for this, we're going to be using a Rain Bug Pin 3-round liner, and we're going to be running at 5 volts even, as you can see. I like for my needle to hang out when I'm applying the stipple approach. One thing that I noticed is, I guess from my background, since I used to do graffiti with larger Sharpie markers, holding these pen style of machines was second nature to me. It was natural using such a big machine to go ahead and create artwork with, as I used to do that growing up. So this was second nature. When I'm using the machine, notice how I really don't talk about the feel, again, because it's second nature. So what I'm trying to get at is this machine, upon using, is ultra smooth. It's a super smooth machine. I'm definitely going to be adding this one to my personal arsenal, as I definitely love this machine right here. I'm going to go ahead and just apply some shading. Maybe we could even just shade this rose right here, so we can give you just want to go ahead and find the look that you're going for, and then go ahead and match your voltage with your hand speed. So I'm trying to look for a real textured look, so I want there to be a lot of dots. So since I'm running at 5, I'm going to be a little bit slower. And as you can see, that's looking really, really nice just from that one pass. We can go ahead and repeat the process again. As you can see, wipe away, and it's doing great. I'm actually loving the way that this looks here. I may be comfortable, I'm running at 5 again right now, so I may be comfortable at 5, 5.5. I think though, for this demonstration, 5 volts is going to do just fine. It is shading with ease here, as you all can see. And I'm using just the tip of my needle, which is why I let the needle hang, is because I'm only using the tip. I'm not using the entire needle. I'm not sticking the needle in there or anything like that. We're just using the tip of the needle, and that is it. But as you can see though, overall this machine is shading nice. I'm loving the way that this machine is shading this pedal right here. Let's go ahead and keep going. It's a really smooth and natural feel to me. The hit right now with this specific needle configuration is super soft, which I'm a big fan of. I'm a big fan of a super soft hit, especially when I'm using a small needle configuration, as I don't want to do any damage to the skin at all. So I think that that's amazing. That's a plus for me. This machine's quickly growing on me. So as you can see, it's shading with ease, it's shading nicely, it's looking great, it's looking soft. I'm gonna go ahead and step out of the rose here, and we're gonna shade right here so we can actually take a look at the shading. So let me go ahead and get a little bit more ink here. And again, I'm just trying to show you all the example here. I'm just trying to demonstrate. You can see some parts where I'm moving too slow. But overall, this is outstanding for stippling. I love the way it feels. It's definitely a super soft hit, which is what I look for upon a stippling when I do stipple. Let's go ahead and just... Now, my hand speed when I stipple is like medium to fast. So 5 volts may be a little too slow. So I may be around 5.3, 5.5. So right now we're running at 5.5. And the hit is still soft. Not much has really changed. I can move a little bit faster and get a smooth look. Overall though, this machine is doing great for stippling. It does great for shading. I'm confident if I get a gray wash going and I want to do some soft shading with some mags, this is gonna do that. Before we close out the video, I wanted to give you an up close look at the aftermath. I want to show you that the machine is super consistent and super precise. There's no texture on the skin besides what was already there, which is what we want upon packing this black right here. As you can see, there's no textures, or there's no tears or scarring or anything. And if you look at the lines, the 14 round shader, same with that. As you can see, smooth, saturated, exactly as we would want. So this machine definitely is hitting right where I want it to. And as you can see from the brief demonstration of stippling right there, and that's just straight black. Typically I would go ahead and have a little gray wash system going on, but as you can see, that is also great as well. Those dots are looking great. They are definitely looking like dots. That was me just trying to figure out different hand speeds and messing with different voltages. And this was all done. This right here was a 27 round mag. This was a 14 round shader, and this was a 3 round liner. So these are some of the practical approaches that I'm going to be using this specific tattoo machine for, which is why I wanted to go ahead and show you all the exact same values that you see here are going to transfer over to real human skin. So let's go ahead and recap, and I'm going to go ahead and let you all know why I'm giving the CNC-X1 a thumbs up and a 5-star from me. So I'm giving the CNC-X1 a 5-star rating simply because of the high quality motor that we're getting. We're getting a high quality Swiss Maxim motor, which definitely does its job. It is a low vibrating, high performance motor. I also give this a 5 stars and a thumbs up for the simplistic build. The machine design alone is easy enough for a beginner to go ahead and effectively clean and sterilize the machine as they should. However, the machine design combined with the motor is also official and I guess ideal for full-blown professionals as well. So this machine is good for any and every tattooist. You don't have to be a beginner, you don't have to be a full-blown professional. You can be a beginner, you can be a full-blown professional. Either way, I think that if you get this machine, it doesn't matter your caliber, you're still gonna benefit from this machine. I also give it a thumbs up and 5 stars because of that nice give system. And again, this last one may be more subjective. As me personally, I love for my tattoo machines to have give. So these are just some of the variables that I do consider. The most important ones is the performance. Basically the motor is always very important to me, along with how I can easily sterilize the machine, or if it's easily sterilizable to go ahead and proceed with another tattoo. This machine definitely passes all of that in flying colors. I will make an in-depth review on how I sterilize my CNC machines effectively and correctly, so stay tuned on that. If you haven't subscribed, so that we can go ahead and view those as they come out. Should you have any questions that I didn't touch base on, by all means, feel free to drop it down below, and I'm going to do my best to assist you in the best possible direction. I also have social media, so if you're not, be sure to go ahead and give me a follow on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. I have social medias all under the same name at Daniel Yuck, DANIELYUCK. I do appreciate you tuning in this long. Thank you very much. You have a great day.